We're just about to begin, so feel free to leave any comments you may have on the right. My colleague Thomas will answer you very quickly. Today we're actually focusing on two things. The first will be how to create an assignment, and the second will be something called app smashing. That's a recent feature we've developed at Sutori, and it enables you to embed any kind of resource into Sutori. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. So we're just waiting a bit for the next few people to come, few teachers. Okay, so welcome everyone. So this is our live webinar, live from the Sutori headquarters. So as I said, we're going to focus on two things. The first is going to be how to create an assignment. And the second will be I'm going to show you app smashing, which is how you can showing you how to embed resources into Sutori. So first what I'm going to do is show you how to create an assignment. So first of all, I'm going to go to my stories, to my dashboard. So this is the first page that comes up when I sign into Sutori. Then I'm going to go to my classes. So some of you may have noticed that recently we changed the wording from groups to classes. And that was just for more clarity, because we realized that students were creating groups and so forth. So it's a lot clearer now. So I'm going to go to my period 3. So there are two sections when you're on your class page. The first is the class stories. So you can see here at the top. And the second is the submitted stories. So the submitted stories are usually what my students create and submit to me, the teacher. And the class stories are the stories that I decided to share with my students. As you can see on this page here, you've got the invite students button on the right. You've got some class stats and also the members, which I can remove and also see more of their work if I want to. But what I want to do today is actually create a story, share it with my students, get them to edit it and submit it back to me. So I'm going to go check out some of the resources we have here at Sutori. So click on the resources icon, tab, sorry. So we have several sections here. The first is the editor's picks. Oh yeah, and as I said before, if you have a question, feel free to type it in the right. My colleague Thomas will reply to you immediately. So you have the editor's picks, which are a selection of stories which really show good use of the tool. They're usually very well done, and we pick them out individually. And we also have resources curated by our historians and teachers, focused essentially on social studies. But what I'm going to do is going to show you some of the units we have. Sorry. So we have the Age of Exploration, as you can see, American Civil War, American Revolution, and these were really created with the idea of bringing history and social studies to life. It's not just the case of putting a textbook on a screen. You've got to bring life to it using the variety of media we have here on the internet, but also through our platform. So I wanted to show you one activity we have in the Ancient Egypt unit. And this activity is called hieroglyphs here. So what the idea of this story, some call it a timeline, we prefer to call them stories, which is broader. So the idea really is to get students to copy this story, complete it, and then submit it back. So this is a story which has that in mind. So for example, here you have something which is a true or false. So hieroglyphs means sacred carving, true or false. Here you have another item which would be a did you know, where the student is invited to write a short paragraph based on the information above. So this is quite in depth as a template for the students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with my group, my class, sorry. So as my class is period 3, click on done. So I'm going to go back to my classes just to check if it's there. Click on period 3. And as I said, there were two sections, the top one and the bottom one. Second was the submit stories. The first is the class stories. And here I can see that the activity story is here. So now let's go and check out what it's like for a student. So I'm just going to log out. Just going to log out and log back in as one of my students in that class. So as you can see, the distinction between the students and the teacher, there isn't that much of them. It's only if you create a class do you actually access it. This student is actually below 13. And because the student is below 13, they cannot actually access the resources. Neither can they share any stories publicly, but they can, of course, share story to a class. So I'm going to go to the period 3 on my student's account. And here I am. I'm going to find it in my class stories, the story which my teacher just shared with me. So when you share a story with a class, there are two ways to interact with it. It can become a class story where students can add comments, as you can see here. I can write the comments. This is great for class discussions, but I'll talk about that another time. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this to make it my own as a student, so then I can complete it and submit it back. So I'm copying the story, and here I can see just above here that I've copied the story. And as you can notice, all of a sudden I can edit it. So to come back to our true or false, hieroglyphs means sacred carving. True. Here I can fill this space up with a paragraph. And I can go so forth, complete the whole story, and submit it back to my teacher. How do I submit it back? I click on share, and I share back with the teacher, and that's it. It's done. But let's go back to see what it's like now for the students. Sorry, for the teacher. So Sutori actually began by recreating historical events on Twitter. And that is why so much of our content that we have available is for social studies. But progressively over time, we realized that many teachers from all kinds of backgrounds were using our platform. So we kind of opened up the tool to all kinds of topics and age groups too. We have kids as young as 5 or 6 use Sutori, and also university and college students using it. So I'm just going to go back to my class just to see that Maria has shared the story with me. And it should come up in the submitted stories here. And there we have it. Maria, she shared it with me. The second thing I want to show you now is the second part of our webinar. It's about app smashing. So Sutori is for us, we really realize that as a teacher, there are a variety of tools you use. And we believe that it's important for you to have one place where you can put them all together. And the one place we believe that Sutori should be that place. And so here I'm going to go. This is a story that I've already pre-prepared just to show you how useful it is. So here we go. This is at splashing. So I'm going to start with, there are a variety of things you can embed. So it goes from ThinkLink, as you can see, Google Drive, we've got Instagram, Flipgrid, Quizlet, Google Maps, Prezi, Twitter, all kinds of things. Recently, we've just actually added a few, which I'll show you at the end. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to embed a Google Doc, for example. So what you do is you start by clicking on the plus icon. Then you have a variety of options up here: text, image, video, audio, forum, heading, did you know, matching, quizzes, multiple choice, or the embed option. So you select embed, and then you have your embed item. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive, and here I have a Google slide, which I'm going to open. And so when you try to embed a Google slide or a Google Doc or a Google Sheet, that's it, the three, what you have to first do is publish it to the web so that the link is accessible by our software. So what you do, so this is my project, you click on File, then publish to the web. As you see here, there's a button Publish. This is the one you have to click on. Yes, there's a confirmation message comes up. And then you copy this link, Control-C, and then you paste it into Sutori, the embed field here. And there you have it. My Google slide presentation is embedded into Sutori. I can go through it as much as I want. And there's also another cool option we have is you can actually expand it to make it cover the entire width. So this is a good idea if you want it to stand out more. So now I'm going to show you, going to repeat this with Google Documents. So the same thing, you create an embed item. Then I'm going to go to this one. And then the same process here, I'm going to click on File once it loads up. Oops. And publish to the web. And see, this one, I've already published it. So the button is grayed out. But again, I'm just going to have to copy paste the link. And there you have it, it appears. This, of course, also would look a lot better expanded. So there you have it. You can also embed any kind of file which is already within your Google Drive. Sorry, just clicking here. So again, you click on plus, you select the embed item. And here, I'm just going to take, this is an image I have here. What you can do is click on the link button here, get the shareable link. No need to publish it to the web already. The link has already been copied to my clipboard, so all I can do is paste it. And there we have it. On the final Google product I want to show you is the Google Maps. The Google Maps are fantastic for many reasons. In particular for education, it really does. There's such a creative tool that students can use. especially if you're teaching geography, for example. But we've seen a lot of users who, even like English students, using it for a variety of ways and reasons. So this is where we live, where I currently am in France, in the southeast. I'm going to copy the link here. You can copy any link depending on wherever you are. So yes, I'm going to copy this. Sorry. Paste it. And there we have it. And it's embedded into Sutori. And I can interact with it just as I would on Google Maps. The next resource I want to show you is Quizlet. So Quizlet's a very famous website for creating quizzes and also study guides in general. So here I've created a link to an art vocabulary Quizlet. And Quizlet is actually one of our favorite products because one of the good things you can do is you can use it in a variety of ways. And so they have recently, they've updated their website, and you've got all these things you can embed into Sutori. You have the learn, the flashcards, the write, the spell, the test, and even something called the gravity and the match. So in this case, I'm going to embed click on the flashcards. And again, it's as simple as copy paste. I just copy the link up here, come to Sutori and the embed item again. And it should come up. And there I can go through the Quizlet as if I were on the Quizlet website. No need to go to an external website anymore. And the same thing goes for a platform like ThingLink. So ThingLink is like a website you use to annotate images in general. And recently they've extended their range to include 360 images, which is the one I have here, but also videos. So again, I'm going to copy the link, paste it. And I can just play around, have a 360 image, just as I would on ThingLink. And of course, I can always expand it to make it cover the entire width. Instagram and Twitter, two social media platforms you can use. You can embed into Sutori. Twitter can be, for example, very useful for English teachers or for people studying journalism or wanting to study the trend of fake news and how do we get information. So here I've actually found the most retweeted tweet in history. So this was by a man who tweeted Wendy's because he wanted free chicken nuggets. And Wendy's said, if you retweet this 18 million times, we will give you a year's worth of chicken nuggets. Well, he hasn't reached his target, but the good news for him is that Wendy's did actually give him some free nuggets for a year. So it's a good story. So what you do is you copy the link to the tweet and you embed it into Sutori. And there you have it. And the same thing for Instagram. Instagram is becoming a go-to resource for teachers. A lot of teachers showing their classrooms off. And if you want some ideas to refresh your classroom, I really recommend you check that out on Twitter. What else can you embed? You can embed Prezi, as you can see here, and Prezi Next and the Classic, both can be embedded. And also a presentation tool, which is a bit more educational, like Buncee. So for example, this is it. Go through all the resources as if you were on Buncee itself. Flipgrid too, quickly becoming one of the go-to tools for education, which is a great platform for students to share videos on a certain topic. So for example, here we've got the great Sir Ken Robinson talking about global goals. This video here is a YouTube. We've had it for a long time, since the beginning of Sutori, but it still is an important feature for education. It's a true treasure chest of resources. And coming soon, yes, coming soon, we actually have Vimeo. That should be live by the end of this week, I imagine. The same goes for PDF and Kahoot. And actually, Edpuzzle, our team of developers, have just pushed through the code, and it should be live by the end of the day. And the same goes for Wikipedia. So for Wikipedia, of course, it's very different to these resources, but we're going to provide a kind of template link if you want. So when you try to embed a Wikipedia, it provides you with a little short definition of what you want to embed, kind of like on Facebook when you copy paste the link. So this is how we have app smashing on Sutori. If you have any requests, if there's something you use a lot in your teaching and you would like it to be possible to embed onto Sutori, please let us know and we'll work on it. Just going to go back. Okay, so if you have any questions, my colleague is still here. He's still answering. Is there anything you want me to cover a bit more? Please do let me know. Got another 5 minutes. So what I can do maybe is show you the creation tool. And if you've got a question, again, just go ahead. My colleague's answering. So when you start creating, it's kind of like a blank canvas. Everything can be edited, everything can be moved. It's a very creative and versatile product, but it can be a little overwhelming at first. Oh yes, one of the questions I see here is that someone asked if Google Forms can be embedded. Yes, it can. I forgot to mention it, but yeah, Google Forms can be embedded. It works very similar to a Google Map. You just have to copy paste the link. There's no publishing to the web, unlike other Google Docs. So yeah, the creation tool is kind of like a blank canvas. And the key here is this plus. So whenever you're on the line, the plus appears. And here you have all the options: video, audio, forum, all kinds of things. So it's very simple. It's as simple as typing any kind of website you use. We have all these kind of editing features. You can bold items. You can put them in italic, underline them. As you can see here, just select, put it in bold. Here, italic or underline. We also have bullet points, which are great, and also being able to put numbered lists. One other good feature we have is you can add links to something. I'm going to click the link. Link to story. Oh, there you go. That makes it a clickable link. So you can, as you can see, there's very basic editing options when you're creating. Another item, which is also image, is self-explanatory, video, audio file too. What I want to show you is the forum. So this is, earlier I showed you that when you share a story with a class, the commenting feature is activated. So the forum really takes advantage of this, and it's a great place to ask an open question and to get the students talking about something. We just put it in a different color to make it stand out more. The same thing for the did you know. So a did you know is just something students and teachers really take a shine to this kind of item, because it's really inviting students' curiosity. And so it could be an interesting or a crazy fact. And because, you know, in today's age, when there's a lot of copy pasting going on from other websites, this is a good way to make students think differently about content or topic. So it's like, you go through this topic and find me something interesting that I don't know and explain it to me. And the same thing could be said of the quiz question. It's not just a case of sharing content and showing what you know. It's also reworking the content so that you understand it. And it works just like any other kind of quiz. How old am I? Select 30, 12, 33, 48. Oh, I'm 33. So I click on the green tick on the left. And then, of course, I can add an explanation or a word of encouragement. So then when I click away, and of course, this item, just like the text item or the did you know or the images, you can always add an image to make it more, to make it more stand out a bit more. For example, here, I'm just going to take my favorite photos. Oops, sorry. It's taking a bit long here to upload. But yes, and of course you also have the other kinds of quiz questions, the matching quiz, and the headings, which are a great way to structure a story. Okay, so that was just briefly showing you the creation tool. Thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to do this. Please do let us know if there are any other kind of topics you would like us to cover. If you'd like us to do something more in depth about the creation, about the management of classes, or even about the Sutori resources that you can use, please feel free to email us. The links will be we're accessible on Twitter, we're accessible on our help emails. We've also got an in-app chat if you have any questions. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon.